Oh, hello and welcome to today's lesson. We're going to talk about, let's get this guy out of the way. There we go. We're going to talk about slope point form, and I'm going to explain where it comes from and what it looks like. So we're going to start off with, I've got a line drawn here on the grid, and I'm going to identify two kind of general points. First point is just going to be called X and Y. It's a general point. It represents any point that's on the line. And let's say I knew the coordinates of some other point. So let's say I knew that this guy here, for example, maybe was 2 units to the right, and maybe it was up 3. Okay, so we're going to say that's the point 2, 3. Now if I said to you, what's an expression for the slope of this line, you would say, oh, that's easy. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the slope formula. So I'm going to go y over x minus minus, and then take another point on the line and put the y value over the x value, and that equals the slope, which we typically refer to as m. Okay, the slope of the line. Now suppose I multiplied both sides of my equation, so in other words the whole thing, by x minus 2. Alright, so here's what I would get. On the right side I would have the slope m times x minus 2. And on the left side of the equation, the x minus 2 on the bottom would cancel with the x minus 2 that I'm multiplying by, and I'm left with x minus 3, or sorry, y minus 3. Well, this, believe it or not, represents the equation of the line in something we call slope point form. So we have this number here, which we actually don't have a number for this example. But this expression here represents the slope, and the minus 2 here and the minus 3 means that our line goes through an x coordinate of positive 2 and a y coordinate of positive 3. So our line goes through this point. So let me show you an example of using slope point form in action. So let's clear off the screen, and let's see. Let's say let's throw a grid in here. And the question might say to graph the following line. So it might say graph, and maybe we have this line here. Y minus 2 equals 1/2 x minus 3. So I want to be able to just graph this line. So I would recognize that the 1/2 is the slope of the line. So I go, okay, I know exactly how steep to draw the line, and now I need to know a point the line is passing through. The x coordinate is positive 3, and the y coordinate is positive 2. Now that's a a point on the line. So I'm going to identify that point, 1, 2, 3, and then up 2. So there's the point that the line is passing through, and we want to draw our line to have a slope of 1/2. So that means a rise of 1 and a run of 2. That takes me to here, and that means our line looks something like this. And there it is. So put some arrows on it, and there's a graph of our line. Now let's do one more example to make sure that's really clear. And we'll throw this stuff out, put a grid up, and in this question we're going to try to graph the following line. Y equals negative 2 x plus 3. Okay, So I look at this and I go, well, if I'm using slope point form, then I know the slope of the line is -2. Now I just need to figure out the coordinates of the point the line is passing through. The x-coordinate would actually be -3. And the y-coordinate, well, there's nothing here, and that would mean 0. So I'm going to start by identifying the point, which is -3, 0 up and down. And I'm going to draw a slope through that point. The slope is -2. I'm going to think of that as -2/1. So that means my rise is -2, so down 2, and then over 1. So that's going to be my steepness. So I'm going to attempt to draw a line now that passes through these points. And there it is. All I got to do now, put a little couple of arrows on it, and down here as well. And there's my line. My arrows are a little rough, but it doesn't matter. That's my line, and that's where I'm going to end for today. So we will catch you later.